Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's show. The guest that we have on today is an incredible woman that I cannot wait to share her story with all of you. I'd love to welcome to the show Keisha Greaves, who I've had the pleasure of knowing probably for about a year now.
Yes.
And she has a remarkable story, an amazing fashion line. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome her to the show today. Hi, Keisha.
Hi, Mindy. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And as always, chic, chic, chic. Look at you. I love it. Keisha, can you tell our audience about your story? I'd love to know about your disability and how it has shaped you as a person.
Sure. So just to start off, I am 34 years old and I live with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy. And I was diagnosed with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy in about my early 20s. So it was something that, say, I had when I was born. And that's still something I'm still trying to figure out, like to this day. Is it something that is in our body as we're born or things like that? So I was actually in graduate school at Cambridge College and I started to get really weird symptoms. I would just honestly be walking, minding my own business, and my leg would buckle and my leg would give out on me and I would just fall to the floor. So the first time it happened, not thinking anything of it, and then it started to recur and happen frequently. And my mom and sister were like, something's not right, because when I fell, I was kind of like a dead weight. Like I couldn't really just get up on my own. Like I needed like assistance, like probably two people just to get me up. So I just thought, oh, no big deal. Maybe I just need to exercise some weight, whatever. But that wasn't the case. So my mom was like, let's go to a doctor because something's not right. So I'm still just thinking, la-di-da, like whatever. So we from Boston, we go to see an orthopedic because my mom was thinking maybe it's something in the feet. So I'm like, all right. So we go to that appointment. And I always remember that I laid, they're about to examine me. Two doctors come in and they ask, oh, can you raise your right leg? Can you raise your left leg? And the legs would not move, like they had to move it themselves. And then they just kind of look at each other like, like something's not right. They're like, maybe you need to see a neurologist. So I said, all right, still not thinking anything of it. So
and were you still ambulatory at that time? Like, did you walk into?
Yep, I walked, no cane, no nothing. Oh. I was like fine, able to walk up and down 5 flights of stairs in college and in high school. So it's so interesting how it just, so happened. So then I went to see my primary care. And then, because of course they were the one who makes the referral. So she's like, all right, I'll write a referral for you to go see your neurologist. So I see my neurologist out here at Auburn Hospital in Cambridge, Mass. And so as soon as I go in, we do testings. I do MRI, EKG, EMG, and then we did a muscle biopsy where she took a piece of muscle from out of my right leg to test it. And then from that muscle biopsy, that's when they determined that I had muscular dystrophy. So I'm just like in shock at that point because I'm like, where did this come from? Nobody in my family seemed to have it. And I'm like, what? Muscular dystrophy? What is that? Like, maybe she has it all wrong. And I was just in total shock. And then it took some time to get used to, like, I was in denial. I was not telling any family and friends. I was just kind of shutting out. Of course, like people I was in graduate school with and my teachers, they knew because, I was like, had to come in with a crutches, because after the muscle biopsy, that was pretty much painful. So it's like they had to know, but otherwise I wasn't really like telling friends. When friends asked me to go out, I was just kind of like, oh no, I don't feel like it. I was just kind of like in my own space. And then things definitely has progressed. And then, because I was still driving and everything, driving my own car, independently working merchandising for for Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and Macy's in the different department stores. So it's like all of this, I was doing all this with no mobility aids, nothing. So when I started to use a cane, even when I went on job interviews, I would tell them like, oh, I sprained my ankle.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, can we just stop there for a second? Because I think this is a really interesting point. Why do you think you did that? What were you afraid of?
I think, I was in denial. I wasn't accepting the fact that I had muscular dystrophy. Second, I think a part of me, not even think, I know a part of me was thinking, if I tell them I have a disability, I'm not going to get this job. They are not going to hire me. They're going to think like I'm weak and I can't do, with going in the back stock, bringing out the merchandise and all that stuff. So those were the main reasons. And I think I didn't even want to say I had muscular dystrophy out loud.
That is so truthful. And thank you for sharing that, because I think that is an ongoing issue. I think even for those that are currently in the workforce that have a disability that have hit it.
Yeah.
Even in today's day and age, because of those reasons that they don't want to be judged. They don't want to appear to not be able to do what other employees can do. But actually, statistically, people with disabilities have 2 times the production that a typical employee has, because they want to work so hard to have their place in the world and in the workforce. So, but the stigma is certainly still there. So I can understand why you chose to go down that path. And also it was all new.
Yeah.
It was all new. And on, a different perspective is, with my son Oliver, who also has muscular dystrophy, a different strain of it, he was born with that. So he knows no other way. Whereas you were in the prime of your 20s, suddenly your world is turned upside down for a disease that I'm going to venture to say you probably knew very little about.
Right, very
and you had to find your new normal. So it probably felt like the best path to downplay it, to say that you sprained your ankle or other things. So at what point did you have to pivot and address it?
So yeah, it definitely took some time. So going to job interviews, I was saying that for a while, and then just like I got so used to it, like I'm like, wait a minute, like, that's not what the case is. I have muscular dystrophy because, as you know, working in the retail field, I'm gonna have to go in back stock, bring out merchandise, and I'm like, these people are gonna have to know what's going on. I'm not gonna be able to climb up the stairs to get this box, and that's like I could possibly fall, and that's not gonna be good. So it definitely took some time, and I think after a few years, after I first wrote my first blog on Tumblr, it was titled Living with Limb-Girdle Muscular Dystrophy. It was like, as I was typing on the computer and just kind of saying it out loud, it was like at that moment, I'm like, I have muscular dystrophy. Like it took that moment. It's like not what the doctors were saying, like, never mind what they were saying, although like what they were saying was true. I'm just like, it wasn't processing. So it was like the time I wrote my blog and I posted it and shared it, and I got so many great feedback. And then, like I said, close friends were like, oh my God, I didn't even know, you were dealing with that. Like I would have never known just looking at you, because I wasn't walking with mobility, no cane or anything at that time. You can see I walk with the waddle, but still it's like no one really would suspect that any of that was going on. So they're like, oh wow, like I never knew. So then it just kind of opened the door a little bit, not 100%, but kind of gave the door a little crack, with me just kind of open for sharing my blog. But then as time went on, I just kind of started to like, hey, this is what I'm living with. I'm going to have to deal with it, take it day by day. This is out of my hands, something I cannot control. This is something that is going to progress, as the neurologist said. And then I just kind of was like, you know what, it's time to start putting my dreams to use, because I did get my undergrad in fashion design and merchandising from Framingham State University. So I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and a business owner. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm a true believer in things sometimes happen for a reason. So I thought, why not? This could be a way for me to share my story, but also incorporate with, through my fashion line. So how I came up with the name.
Hold on one second. I just want to just put a pin in this for a minute, because I think this is important for our audience. What, can you tell me, like, timeline wise, how far into, you were in your mid-20s when you were diagnosed? How old were you about when you kind of had this realization? You realized that, oh, wait a second, I'm a trained fashion designer. I have skills. I'm still the person I was before this diagnosis. What are we talking about? Years, months? Like how far into the
I would say, because I was in my early 20s. So I graduated in 2010. So I want to say even when I graduated, like it was still, hard, because I'm like, afraid of just, walking during the ceremony. Am I going to fall? Is my leg going to buckle? So it's like all of that where someone doesn't understand, like an able-bodied person may not get, just like the littlest things I'm dealing with. When I walk up on the stage to get my degree, am I going to fall? So it's like at that time, it still wasn't registering for me. I still, knew I had it. But I want to say it took like a good probably 3-4 years. Like I tell some people, I feel like I just realized this, like, I want to say the other day, it feels like. That's how long it took.
But I love the honesty around that, because it is something that you had to find your new normal. You had to probably really dig in and say, I have purpose in this world, and I'm going to use it, even though my mobility has changed, even though I'm now in a wheelchair. And just to kind of catch people up on your type of muscular dystrophy, is it progressive? Have you reached the plateau, so to speak? You are, for those that can't really see, you are in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And what is your functionality? Are you still able to use your arms? Where are you in the kind of the time span of the disease?
Okay, so where I'm at right now, definitely opposed to when I was first diagnosed, I used to be able to still walk up and down the stairs just a little bit, holding on to the handrail. And then I eventually started using the cane. And then a few years later, then I started to transition into a walker. So I recently just got into this wheelchair. It's going on 1.5 years right now. So I'm still able to, like, I get out the wheelchair to say, use my walker to use the restroom. So I kind of like, would stand up position, use like, to get on the toilet and things like that. But as far as like walking around my apartment, I just try to just keep staying in my wheelchair, because I'm like, it's safer that way. And it's so interesting because I said, I don't want a wheelchair, like years, before, when my doctor said you eventually might need one.
Yeah, that's exactly where we are right now. Very, very anti.
Yes, I was like, no, I don't want a wheelchair. That's going to be like such and such. And then different support groups that I'm on that have limb girdle like myself, a lot of people says, you gain so much independence when you're in a wheelchair. You don't have to worry about falling and things like that. And at the time, I didn't really understand that. But now that I am in this wheelchair, it's like I feel so much. I understood now what they were saying. I'm like, okay, now I don't have to worry about going to a restaurant with my friends. When I'm sitting down in the chair, I got to struggle to maybe get the assistance of getting up. Because, like, as you know with your son, probably just sitting down in the chair, especially if it's too low, getting up, it's like, and that was always just a hassle of going out. I have to make sure I was sitting at maybe a high table or a chair that was easier for me to get out. But then it's like, now that I'm in my wheelchair, it's like, and I'm in the wheelchair that, it has the operating, moving up and down.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, now I'm an independent, can sit in my own chair. I don't have to sit in the restaurant chair. But then also, I feel like then I can pass my family and friends when we're walking.
I love it. I love it, because now you have control.
Yes, I have control.
You have control. I love that. Now, before we jump into your fashion line, which I want to make sure that we have time for, I think an interesting point I'd like to dive into is talk to me about clothing, right? So I would imagine that was probably a struggle as well as you started losing capacity in your legs and whatnot. You were very used to having a style and things that you, when you're able-bodied, you don't think about what it takes to get dressed. So now here you are in your mid-20s and are still the same person, probably still want to have the same style and same look. What was that a struggle for you?
Yes, that definitely was a struggle. Definitely, I felt like I had to get rid of a lot of the boots and, the little heels I used to wear, because I'm like, man, I can't wear those because I'm just trying to focus on getting from point A to point B without falling. So, it's like you said, like what I would think about before, it's like you never know until you're in that situation. What's somebody's mindset and a disability? It's like, we're just trying to get dressed without falling, without catching our balance. So it's like, yes, definitely, as time went on, it's like, I didn't have like, say, the energy. It's like, yes, I still wanted to look cute and presentable, but it's like, I'm looking for, say, a loose fitting shirt to get over my head. That's not going to be a struggle to put my arms through, easier for me to put on, and, stretchy pants for me to just, put on, opposed to like jeans with the button and the zipper. I'm like those I just tried to avoid at that time. Because I'm like, that's going to be a struggle, you know, because I like to wear like a lot of distressed jeans and, you know, those trying to put through my legs will get stuck in the hole. And I'm like, this is going to take too long. So it's like anything that was comfortable for me, I just kind of just, you know, I had to put on because I'm like, I don't have the time to put like, say, this outfit together. Yes, I still wanted to, but, you know, I'm like, times have changed. You know, I have to make it more easier.
Yeah.
Things like that. So that's why I'm thankful for someone like yourself who has brought the whole adaptive clothing collection, you know, into fruition, you know, for these other designers to look at. And I'm so happy that now everybody's doing it because someone, you know, like say my PCAs or my cousins and friends, they see now from them helping me get dressed is like, you know, they see the struggle. And just from that, your fashion show, like that Zappos adaptive shirt and pants I put on, like my cousins was like, wow, like, this is easier. You know, so just like this, the snaps in the back, like as we were getting dressed for the fashion show,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, wow, now we see what you mean. And I'm like, see, this is why it's so important. This is why, like, I would like to come out with an adaptive clothing collection myself because it's so much easier. People don't understand, like, it takes time for us to get dressed. I tell my friends and family, like, hey, if you want me to go out, please tell me in advance. Like, I have to prepare my outfit. I got to put one leg and arm.
You never had to think about before, right? I love that you brought that part up because it's not this anymore. Everything requires planning and thought and time.
Yes.
So we are together, which is why we formed the Gamut Network, because we're all in this together, are going to help the fashion industry understand how critically important this is. Exactly. So now let's talk about what you're doing.
Yes. So what I'm doing, so after coming out of denial, as I mentioned, I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, business owner. So I thought, why not share my story with starting a clothing line? So how I came up with the name Girls Chronically Rock is I knew I wanted something with the word chronic in it, but I know I didn't know exactly how I wanted to incorporate that together. So I honestly was just lying in bed one night and I thought, Girls Chronically Rock. I like the way that sounded. And then I just kind of like flowed. And then I started selling it on Etsy. And then from Etsy, that's when I launched my website. And then, you know, I just started from there. And then for my t-shirt lines, I have like different like inspirational quotes, like, of course, Girls Chronically Rock. I have Trust Your Dopeness, which I, you know, created because I'm like, trust and believe in yourself. I just recently added one, Trust Your Abilities. I have one, Walk with a Twist, because I feel like that's important. We all have our own signature walk, whether it be with a walker, a cane, a wheelchair, you know, it's like, so I just have like different inspirational quotes that I feel like are meaningful for me, that I know that would be meaningful for others. So with this clothing line, you know, I plan to just make it into a movement, to bring awareness, you know, to the disability community and, you know, hopefully build my empire. And I'm hoping to create an adaptive clothing collection under the Girls Chronically Rock umbrella.
I love it. So just so everybody knows, we're going to post all of this in the body of the email to have everybody go to girlschronicallyrock.com.
Yes, correct.
That's correct? Okay. Yeah. You have to go check out the line. It's amazing. And Keisha, part of the proceeds go where?
To the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love, though, that it's something that anybody could wear, right? You don't have to have a disability, and not just inclusion and even adaptive. I mean, this is one of the things that we definitely want to underscore, is that the product is the exact product that everybody else is wearing. It's just modifying to make it easier to wear. And the reality is that a button and a buttonhole was created in the 13th century. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And we are still using it. We can run our lives through our phones, but we're still using technology like a button and a buttonhole that is centuries old. So why doesn't everybody wear adaptive?
Right, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I cannot wait to see where you go with the line. We are so supportive of you and are so amazed by what you have done. Again, everybody, the website is girlschronicallyrock.com. We will post the link for everybody to go to. Keisha, before we go, I'd like to ask all of my guests about something that's very important to me, and that is the creation of a vision board. Something that I hold very dear. I put all of my hopes, dreams, wishes, who I want to meet in my life, who I want to be interviewed by, like Ellen and Oprah, and where I see Gamut Management, Runway of Dreams, the Gamut Network, where I see it going in our world. What would be on your vision board? Who would you want to meet, or what do you want to do? What do you want to see in your lifetime?
Sure. So on my vision board, I would definitely see Girls Chronically Rock in department stores. Lee Simmons, the designer of Baby Fat. So she would definitely be on my vision board, as long, and also Betsy Johnson, because I love her funky with her tutus, like, because I'm a tutu fanatic, as I wore my tutu, I think, for the fashion show before I got dressed. So I'm always in tutus, so I just love that she's always like, with her funky, like, quirky, like, different outfits, and she does, like, flips after her, like, after the runway. So definitely she would be on my vision board, and just lots of money. Empire would be on my vision board, and just,
I love it.
That would definitely
we will
be the main
accomplish
thing.
that. I have no doubt.
Thank you.
Keisha, it was so wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Again, please go to girlschronicallyrock.com. We will post the site, because we are big fans, and everybody should be going there and looking at the creations that Keisha has done. If you would like to be on the Gamut Network, please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com and tell us why you would be a great guest. And also, please go to our YouTube channel, the Gamut Network, because this needs to be a show that everybody sees. Thank you again, Keisha. Love seeing you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.